Welcome to this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Jon Stamell, lifelong entrepreneur, international brand builder, founder of Umiji. Welcome to the show, John.
Thank you, Ajay. I'm glad to be here.
You are welcome. Welcome to the show. Welcome to India in this online form, John. And I'm sure not just in India, but a lot of people across the globe will benefit from what we are going to talk right now. We will talk about mastering global brand building. We'll learn all that from you. But before that, let's learn a bit about your journey, your background, so that the listeners know a bit more about who they are listening from.
Okay. Well, I've got a fairly eclectic background. I went to school in Asian studies, later studied Chinese, became a development director of a nonprofit organization, spent a few years as a banker, and eventually started an advertising agency by myself, which then grew to 90 people, and we were doing business around the world. And I had certain ideas along the way. And when I sold the agency, I wasn't smart enough to retire. And I started a new company based on some of the ideas that I have. And that's what Umiji is. And we can talk about it a little bit more.
Right, right. So, John, I want to understand when you talk about international brand building, what does, we are in the third day of this new 2025. What does international brand building mean in today's time?
Well, I think it means symboling a certain set of values and relationships among your customers and among the wider group of consumers around the world. But brand building is changing as well as technology changes too.
Right. And how is it changing? Because AI is coming in. Moreover, with the change of technology, obviously it's a change of technology, but is the change of technology itself leading to brand building, or you will have to be more focused around brand building? Because and that too a global brand building. People are consuming you not only locally, but also globally. And earlier it was that you would only show one part of your persona in only one part of or in your locally, and another persona in another country, and internationally you would come out differently. I want to understand from that point of view, from a company's perspective, also as from companies from agencies who are designing such brand building efforts for them.
So if we go back probably 30, 40 years, consumers around the world thought in a linear way. So if they were told that something was bigger and better, they would go out and they would buy that because they were told that. But then there was a transference to thinking in a more relational way. So now I know someone is telling me that I need to buy certain furniture, but I want to take a vacation. So it's not a linear way of thinking. It's comparing something that is maybe not directly related to the other. And so I think relational thinking took over. So then we get to a period where we have social media, and now we have AI. And I think that thinking is very disparate around the globe. And so I think the best thing for companies to do is to create what's called walled gardens. So this is creating your own community of people that you can build relationships with. And you have to do this because of the proliferation of emails around the world and social media. Let me ask you this, Ajay. Do you know how many emails get sent around the world every day?
Well, I can't give you any number, but must be at least in billions, is it?
It's 350 billion a day.
Oh my God.
And that will actually increase this year to around 375 billion a day. Now, of those, around 95% go into spam folders, or they never get open, or they may get open once and then they just sit in people's email boxes. I always like to take a peek at my wife's email box, and I see she's got 15,000 emails there. And I go, well, have you read all those? No, they just keep them there. Well, why don't you clean your email box? I don't want to. And that's the kind of behavior that goes on. So people aren't paying attention. Emails are less effective. Social media is less effective. There's too much clutter. And so what do? You have to attract your own customers and build relationships with them. Most of those 350 billion emails every day are transactional. And transactions don't create relationships. So what you have to do is build your own community and build relationships with those people. And that's one of the things that we do in my company. And there are some different ways of doing that.
Right, John. We'll come to your company. First, to understand this number itself, you said almost 99% of such
95,
emails,
95.
95%.
Right.
That's a huge number. So firstly, I want to understand who is writing these emails. I don't think it's all the spammers. There must be companies who are spending time, energy, money into it. So I want
That's
to
true.
understand who is this, why are they doing it when they know, when it's a known figure that is going into spam.
So you've had tremendous growth in the bulk email industry. And when you look at companies like MailChimp and SendGrid, and then you've got all of the CRM companies, they're sending emails. So you now have all of these tools that you can send emails. And so it's very easy for a company to hire a couple of young kids and tell them, I want you to write emails every day to our customers, whether they're in our state, our country, or around the world. And just tell them we'll give them a discount, or we'll add this, or do this, and keep sending them those emails, because we have the tools to do that. And we have so many bulk emailing tools that's what happens every day. I woke up this morning and I had over 70 emails, and that was at 7 a.m. And I took out my iPhone, which I thought I had here, but I don't. And I hit that little edit button and I go delete, delete, delete. Oh, that's from a trusted source. Delete, delete, delete. That's from somebody I know. Delete, delete, delete. And that is the kind of behavior that people exhibit with their emails. Most emails get opened up on their iPhones or their phone devices.
Right. Don't the companies know that if I put their emails into the spam folder, so that their other emails, when they come, then they don't even take a nanosecond of my time, then the algorithm or the Google system or any other system will downgrade their emails, and that is bad. So why are they risking this particular thing?
Well, they do know that, but there are all kinds of little tricks and tips that you can use to make sure that they get past spam folders. One of the things that companies do is they train the servers by starting out with 20 emails a day, and then you go up to 100 and then 1,000. And so the servers build a level of trust and keep sending those. And then companies are measuring performance by emails open. Really, the way performance should be measured is by contribution to lifetime value of each customer.
Right, and that is where I want to understand, John, in this, in this new times of brand building, global brand building, when consumers are becoming much more conscious, the new generation is becoming much more conscious on how companies are coming out, being seen in dealing with them. Why are these people not so conscious about this part of the brand, this part of their customer relationship? When they talk about customer relationship, how do you intend to change that with your new company? Tell us a bit about your company. How do you intend to change it? Can you change this whole mindset of marketing agencies or companies down there?
Well, let's think about walking into a retail store for a moment. You go into the store and you have a conversation with the salesperson who maybe sees you looking around, or maybe you ask a couple questions, they ask you questions, and as they're asking questions, they're getting more information about you so that they're able to give you advice as to which of their products you might buy. And so all of a sudden, the relationship has changed from them becoming a vendor to becoming a trusted source. And the question then becomes, how do you replicate that with digital tools? And that's what we focused on, is how can we replicate that experience of walking into a retail store and establishing a relationship with the salesperson with using digital tools. And so that's basically what we've done.
Can you explain a bit how? Because uh, one of the things in terms of all the tools that were available, either in terms of any sort of marketing, people thought the best was still email, because you got the emails with you, and then you are not dependent on any particular platform, social media platform. Finally, if the customer gives you the email, it means they want you to communicate with them. But if 95% of that is ineffective and only 5% seems to be working, it means other tools are not working. This is only less effective or only effective medium. What are the other tools that are there that can be explored by companies, small businesses, large businesses, whoever it is?
So years ago, there was a governor from the state of Vermont named Howard Dean who ran for president. And his was the first campaign that was successfully raising money over the internet. And they came to us and they said, we've raised all this money over the internet, but people have stopped giving and we don't know why. So we said, well, we can figure that out for you. Give us your email list. They gave us the email list. We went out and we asked people, very simple question. You gave once, why haven't you given again? And what came back resoundingly from people is, you asked for money, and so we gave. And then you asked for money again and again and again, but you never asked for our opinion. And so, there's an old saying is, you ask people for money, they give you advice. You ask them for advice, they give you money. So the key is asking your customers their opinions, asking them their advice, asking them what they want to see. And so what our platform does is it enables companies to ask their customers questions and then be able to segment them based on the answers. And here's where AI comes in, because it doesn't matter whether it's a closed-ended question, yes, no, multiple choice, whatever it is. You can ask an opinion question. You can ask a perception, a motivation, and the AI will categorize it, append that information to that individual's database to enable you to segment them by the language they use or by the categorization of their perceptions or of what they want from you in the future. So rather than segment people and then contact them based on what they did in the past, which is what's common, what did you buy in the past, and now this is what we'll try in the future, let's segment them by what they want now and what their aspirations are in the future, so that we can take that relationship that we're building and then see if we can sell them something.
Right, John. So, do you think companies are really bothered about their customer, or they are only bothered about their money? Because customers, so many of them, they don't trust. Even I only may want to deal with a company only if that product is not available anywhere else. But we just don't. And I think, forget about me as a customer. Companies don't want to deal with customers. They have put bots, they have got everything. All the responsible people can be seen everywhere in the world, except when it comes to the customer wanting to talk to someone in the company.
Companies want to build lifetime value based on transactions. They should be building lifetime value based on relationships. Transactions don't lead to relationships. Relationships lead to transactions. And it's really as simple as that. And if you build relationships If you build your walled gardens and you get to know people, you'll find that your transactions will go up as a result. And that's what our clients are finding using our platform, which does enable transactions, but it focuses on relationships first.
What sort of clients do you get? Who are this type? Any particular one industry or other industry? Do they have a bad reputation outside the way they are dealing with? That is why they are concerned. Is it the new bunch of people who want to actually build customer relationship, or is it another trick by people? Okay, John has got something of value. Let's go to him, extract as much as possible, but we will not change. We will continue to be like. It's like, a brand which has a bad name, then they create another brand. Then by the time people know that, okay, it's the same company which owns this brand, and they keep on moving. You can't change people, their mindset, until unless there is a real change that comes in within.
Well, there are about four questions in there, but let me see if I can address them. Our focus is on what I would call aspirational luxury companies or brands, or in their customers. Now, the reason for that is that those brands were built by people that look like you and me, but they're changing over to young people, to Gen Z, to millennials, and the brands really don't know the behaviors, the interests, the aspirations of those groups. So that's one of the reasons why we focus on that segment. The other is that segment tends to be a little bit more resistant to economic cycles as well. So that would include wine and spirits, high-end foods, skincare, beauty, even nonprofits, because when you think about who contributes, who donates money, who spends time volunteering, those are people that are well off, that would be buying those aspirational luxury products.
Right, John. So you talk about, building true relationship, that creates long-term customer value. So how do companies build true relationship? Assuming that they really want it. Okay, they have realized they're wherever they are. And then long-term customer value. People are transactional, you said. How do they convert that mindset into long-term customer value? They look at it from purely from transactions. Who has the patience? Which company has the patience today?
Well, I don't think I would say it's patience. I think it's methodology. If I had to name a very specific company, I mean, two that I would come up with that it may surprise you because they're very big companies are Amazon and Apple, because the customer service for both of those is incredible. If you and I've had this happen a couple of times recently, where you get the wrong order or something comes damaged, you can call Amazon on the phone and the individual who's there will fix it for you right there. That's a start to building a relationship. That's a start to a customer becoming dependent on the company. The same thing happens at Apple. You can call, you can go into their Genius bars, and you get personal attention. And that's building a relationship. So then when they start sending you emails, you pay a little bit more attention to what's going on. And very often those emails are personalized to what you are doing with them or your recent experience with them. And I think all of those kinds of things help to build relationships. And it's different. When I owned my ad agency, we had a lot of global accounts, and we had some that were very challenging. And one was re-imaging the country of Chile after Pinochet, a dictator who had been there for many years, had left. And so how do you create a global brand for a country? And the way we did that is we took the products that they sold that people trusted, wine, fruit, even copper, furniture that people around the world were buying, and we created the country's image based on the values and qualities in those products. The same thing happened when we were asked to profile in the media the country of Norway. And we had the Winter Olympics coming up, and we used the Olympics and people's relationship to the Olympics to transfer that to people who really want to know more about the country. So in every case, big global brand or small, the focus is on building a relationship with people. And in today's world, where you can get email addresses, it's really about building a community of people who have a relationship with you. And we've created a methodology with digital tools and with AI that enable that to take place.
Wonderful. There's much to learn about all these things from you, John, and I'm sure a lot of people would want to connect with you, connect with your company. What is the best way for them to do so?
Well, the name of the company is Oomiji, Oomiji, and they can either contact me at Jon, Jon, at Oomiji, or info at Oomiji, and they can take a look at our website too, oomiji.com. And
Wonderful.
and by the way, Umiji is derivative of a Japanese word, which means to get a view. And that's basically what you're doing, is you're getting a view of all your customers, using that information to build relationships with them.
Absolutely. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Thank you.